Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and cinephiles around the world. Sound like, was it Bruce Buffer? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. No, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages and cinephiles alike, hello. Thank you for tuning into another Real Debaters production. I am your host, Micheal Petrow. This week on the show, no debate, no interview. It's bonus time. It's bonus area. It's my favorite area because this is the shit that me and Charles Fernandes from the Nerdgasm show, we're talking one day. You might remember Charles. He did an episode few back last year. It was the Keanu Reeves character that would best teach driver's ed. That was the debate that he was on. Him and his partner Claudia came on. We had a super fun time. We were nerding out in a little chat group one day. And I just said, hey, you watch the same shit I watch, and we're into the same shit that each other's into. Excuse me, dinner. And I thought, I'm a lazy piece of shit, and I would love to talk about this with you, and you're the only person I know who's watching the same stuff as me, so why don't we do some shit and rotate platforms? You're on YouTube. We're on podcast platforms, so we have no video. So let's have some fun with this shit. So this inaugural episode is on the podcast, obviously. And then the next one, we're going to aim for the next one. We're going to be on his platform and bounce back and forth. I'm going to do some shit that he does. He's going to do some shit that we do. Essentially, it's called the call sheet for the daily events that have happened in the last 2 weeks between episodes. So that's what this is. That's the working title so far. So you're now tuning into the inaugural episode of The Call Sheet with Charles Fernandes and Micheal Petrow. On this episode, we go hard in the paint on WandaVision. We catch each other up on what we think is happening in WandaVision, in satire TV world. We go over how artificial intelligence has proved that Arnold Schwarzenegger is, in fact, the best action hero ever. That's a lot of fun to go over those stats, by the way. Link is in the episode. And then we also go over the 10 roles that Tom Cruise was up for that he didn't get. Oh my God, it's so nice to know that motherfucker wasn't Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. It's RDJ, baby. RDJ. Anyways, that and a bunch of other stuff are talked about. So every 2 weeks we'll be doing these. I'll have in the show notes. You can find Charles's information, so you can subscribe to his channel, and you can never miss me doing his or some of the guys over there, and vice versa. Subscribe to us on Instagram and any podcast platform of your choosing, as I try to make us as easily findable as possible, if those are correct grammar. And then you'll never miss a version of it being done here. Welcome to The Call Sheet, ladies and gentlemen. Also, therealdebaters.ca for all of you that are new. That's where you can find everything you need to find about us. If you want to see cast bios and pictures, the blog, the podcast itself, where to subscribe, the merch stand, as well as how to donate to the show. Maximum donations $5, because I wouldn't give me more than $5. And for every donation, we'll try to give something back to you. So go hit that donate tab. You can just read it. We're not asking for your money off the hop, but we would really appreciate it, and we super duper appreciate it. So appreciative. Anyways, so yeah, therealdebaters.ca for all things Real Debaters. I got nothing else for you. I'm super excited about these. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Maybe I'll be in a video, or maybe we'll be back here. Who knows? But you can't find out unless you subscribe. I'll cue the reel, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everyone, to the official space section of the chart.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of order.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cinephiles everywhere, you are listening to the first iteration of what we've just kind of decided to call The Call Sheet. Is that correct, Charles?
Yeah, I think I think it's definitely safe to say that a working title right now is The Call Sheet.
Okay. All right. Working Call Sheet. You are tuning into a monthly smash up, for lack of a better fucking term,
Love it.
of the Nerdgasm show and the Real Debaters podcast. Basically, I had said that this is kind of a dumping ground for all the things that neither of us can do on our shows.
Yeah.
And it's stuff that we want to talk about in long form conversation. And Charles doesn't have podcasting gear, and I don't know how to do YouTube. So we're like, let's bang heads together. And,
That's right. So this is basically like it's Endgame right now, and all the portals are opening up, and everybody's coming together, and all of a sudden the X-Men are walking in, like it's finally just coming together. It's the crossover that everybody didn't know they needed. So
that's the perfect way I think the two of us will always refer to the show as.
Yeah.
Maybe no one else, but two of us definitely will.
Yeah, like 100%. That's the first thing when you messaged me and everything. I was just like, yeah, this is how the X-Men are going to be introduced to the MCU. It's going to be a wicked event. I'm excited. Like, this is just what I think. It's like a wicked crossover. It's great.
I felt like, because I posted on the Instagrams that this is a marriage, because I did feel like I was proposing to you.
Yeah, that was great. I love that you used that term specifically. It was great. I'm like, yeah, it's committed now. I love it.
Yeah, like on paper somewhere.
Yeah. No, it's I'm excited. I mean, like, I'm sure you're in the same boat. I literally annoy people with talking about this shit all the time. So it's nice to utilize it, kind of put it in an outlet where we have an audience that wants to hear about it,
Totally. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I'm going to stop using those crutch words, like totally. That's we're going to
totally.
It's 100%. I fucking hate when I hear that. I hate it even more when I do it. So on fucking record, I'll stop using crutch words, ladies, and I will dig deep into my vocabulary and pull out of my ass.
I like is a word that I hate because I realize I use it so much. Much. It's my thinking word, and I don't like that because I think a lot.
The word doesn't make you sound like you're thinking deeply.
It makes me sound like I'm thinking, but I'm not smart because I'm like, and people are just like, does he forget words?
I am notorious for like trying to get some old 70-year-old man saying right, but getting half of it right. So like, I'll be like, I don't know, it's like the cat's spandex.
He's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to be Matthew McConaughey, but it's not fucking working.
Yeah. Oh man, McConaughey, come on. McConaughey is just in a league of his own. Lincoln was literally like, you're just gonna drive our car and you're just gonna say your thoughts. And it worked.
And like that's where I didn't the Lincoln or Cadillac commercial come after Lincoln? Like didn't or was it tied in?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it was like, I gotta say, whoever was working that day and pitched that dude is a real genius. That was a wicked idea.
I just wonder if we watched an hour and 45-minute long car. Like,
oh fuck.
Could it have just been a 2.5-minute commercial and they could have saved the
I mean, I will never have the income where I'm like, let's go get one, but I definitely know about them and I never thought I would care to.
Yeah. They have like this thing on the steering wheel that like you can set, and then when you get out of the car, it goes back to neutral, and then when you get in, it like goes to your positionings, I guess.
Yeah, dude. It's like I've been in a car where like it does that, and it's like when you press the button to start the car, it's like out of the future. The steering wheel adjusts, the side view mirrors go, the like your mirror, it's all adjusting. I was like, holy shit. I thought of like Demolition Man. I'm like, hey, go. Just do the rest, please.
And then you looked in the back seat and you were like, what are the 3 seashells doing here?
Yeah. What?
We did an episode and somehow, it was Sylvester. It was the one where we're like, I think we have something here. It was the one. Well, I think we have something. That's still to be the class is still out on that, but we did Sylvester Stallone to run a summer camp, and I used Demolition Man as
oh my god, that's great.
I used John Spartan as my camp director, and said that in the arts and crafts skill, you would make your own seashells and you'd finally learn what you're supposed to do with them.
Literally. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, that's great. That is a great topic too. Oh man.
And it's fun. Like it really is like Twitter it's tweets, right? It's like
Yeah.
rename this movie with this word in it, and we're just like let's extrapolate on that, right? Because it's funny to say that shit out loud. But let's I'm rambling, and we're not on limited time, but we are on time, and
there is time. Yeah, unlike WandaVision, time does exist where we are in our
well, that is a segue, motherfucker. That is exactly where I was headed, and I wish Jimmy could be here because Jimmy fucking hates it. Like he feels
really, he's not liking it, eh?
No, he feels like he got fucked by the long dick of Disney. So, and I was texting him as he was watching it last night, and I was like trying to sell him on because I was like, it's prefacing Doctor Strange and the
big time. Big time.
And I was like, he really wants to see that because he's a big Sam Raimi fan, and that's just going to be a stupid fun fucking movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is, and I'm like, I understand why. So I guess we'll start there. Spoiler fucking alert, first of all.
Yeah, that's always good. Spoiler alert on everything we're talking about because we're going to really dive into it. So
yeah, this is the first time I've ever really been able to unbox a thing before.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I'm at half mast. This is not.
I'm always at half mast. I'm ready to go.
I don't know if it's an always thing now. I don't know. Probably not an always thing. I'm 39. It's definitely not an always thing.
It's a hopeful thing.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, back to WandaVision. So let's start there with after 3 episodes of an incredibly slow burn. Where are you when you first saw the first episode, which is filmed in front of a live audience, which it was, by the way.
Yeah, it was, which is great.
So let's start between 1 to 3. How have you changed?
So to be completely honest with you, I'm a huge fan of like the Honeymooner, like the classic sitcom, like the Dick Van Dyke Show, the Honeymooners. When I was a kid and Much Music was still good, between like the hours of like 2 and 4, they would play like the Partridge Family, the Brady Bunch,
Monkeys.
So like, so I liked it. It's definitely one of those things where I'm like, okay, they definitely had a lot of fun making it, and I totally get it because they're so true to the genre. They're so true to it and everything. But I definitely get that with this generation and like younger, they're not going to enjoy it as much.
Yeah, I can attest to that because there is a like millennials, let's just say. No, like they're not I Love Lucy.
No,
they're not.
No, and even if they've heard of I Love Lucy, they don't have the mentality of like, I don't even think they'll understand why it's a classic. Like they're just like, no. Like I've literally had a 19-year-old tell me black and white, no thanks. And I'm like, okay. Well, yeah.
They're lost. Like they're not.
I agree. Like, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to tell you whatever. Like it's your loss. It's like when people are like, subtitles I have to read. No, thanks. I'm like, well, that sucks. Cause like you're really limiting like, your enjoyment level, I think. But I mean, my thing is, I think people would enjoy the show more if it was uploaded all at once. Because if people could go past, power through the episodes that they're not enjoying as much, I think people would give it a little bit more credibility. But I think because you have to wait a week, the episodes like it filmed in front of a live studio audience, if you really don't like it, it just pisses you off more because you're like, I have to wait a fucking week now. You know what I mean? But I love it. I personally love the references. I do think it does drag a little bit. I do get it. But because they're starting to unravel the mystery more, especially in episode 3, like that was the most we got in terms of like, something's definitely going on. I keep remembering this is leading up to Multiverse of Madness, and that's where my brain is now. So whenever they make a reference or they do something, I'm like, where is Wanda right now stress-wise? Or like, what is Wanda thinking? So she just got pregnant. Okay, so it's like, holy shit. All right, so she's really trying to commit because I think these are things that keep Vision alive. Because I think she's totally going. I think she's like, I've read things where people think she's in the Mind Stone, and I think that's interesting.
That is, I've heard that. I haven't read about it. I just to counter your point, I agree with you on almost everything you've said. 100%. Like I see where we are creating a world and we are bringing mystery to this to prepare you for what, because if this is like the gateway drug to what Multiverse of Madness is going to be, then like what the fuck kind of time bending, world bending, reality shifting shit is going on. But my theory is we're seeing the story unravel as she unravels, and as she unravels, the story will make sense. So it's buried in the actual length of the show, which is why I don't think they dropped it in 10 or 8 episodes, whatever it is, right off the top, because it's part of the plot is to slowly watch her unravel. So 1 episode a week, I guess, is part of the marketing of that idea.
Yeah, and totally. And I mean, another thing I love too is it makes more sense is that each week, each episode is hitting a different decade. And you feel that more when you wait the week. So going from like episode 1 to episode 3, you get like your traditional 50s to a 70s opening where it's like Bewitched almost, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like that was really great, by the way, because even from the first episode where she's cleaning everything and it's done like 50 styles where you can tell things are on a string and then like the bull hits his head and stuff, I was like, this is totally Bewitched if they were both witches.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then they did the Bewitched thing and I was like, okay, awesome. So like I love it. Like because I'm getting the references. Like I guess if you're not really picking up on certain references and things, it can look like, I don't like this, or like they're dragging this out. But for the most part, I was getting the references. Like the 2 beds is total I Love Lucy. And then they even did the beds together. Like that was a I Love Lucy episode. Like that was awesome. Like those little things. And I love, like they're definitely doing even things right from the comic. Like when they had that very stereotypical where they're like back to back, like what's going on? There's an actual like image right from the 60s comics of them doing that stereo, like that very awkward, like, you know, back to back hands out thing. Like they definitely did the research. These story developed, like the showrunners know what they're doing. They clearly love these characters. And again, if this is leading, like if every episode is a new decade, then that means there's 10 episodes. Like I'm thinking episode 9 and 10 are going to be in present day. And it's going to be fucking wild. It's going to be crazy.
Well, like what they're doing with, I believe it's Catherine Hahn.
I love her.
Let me bring up the cast here. Catherine Hahn is Agnes, Fred Melmond as Arthur Hart, and Deborah Jo Rupp as Mrs. Hart. Like these supporting actors are helping create this really awkward mystery. Like when Han is by the fence and she's recycling all the reasons why it's weird that Monica Rambeau, which that's a huge, have you figured out the Rambeau?
Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't figured it out yet, I just learned this recently. Monica Rambeau is the daughter of Geraldine in the show. Monica is the daughter of what's her face? Denver's friend in Captain Marvel.
Her best friend, her like co-pilot and everything. I can't remember her fucking name. Oh, yes, which is crazy.
That's stupid fucking crazy. So
yeah.
And I'm just so fucking stunned after 3. I just want to talk about 3. Fuck 1 and 2 for a second.
Let's go for it. I agree. Like 1 and 2, great homage to the genre, really great. But in terms of actual story progression, 3 was fucking wild.
3, what was so wild about it was the glitch. I think the glitch is such a compelling note that, like, for some people who don't have the backstory of Wanda and Vision, or Scarlet Witch and Vision, whatever you want to call her, the glitch is significant to what's going on in her brain.
Yeah,
and it really does tell you at the end of the scene that Vision is not there. Like, and that's something that's going to have such a tragic effect in this. Like, that's what I'm more interested in right now, is how hard she's going to break, because they've clearly got her in that force field for a reason.
Yeah.
And just after having watched Winter Soldier again, I'm like, I forget how fucking powerful Wanda is.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't really explored what's going to happen. So when she comes out of that force field and reality smacks her in the face that Vision is gone and she doesn't know what's going on, but she's given birth, like the fucking, I mean, that's, I don't know if anybody else
and that's the thing is she giving birth? Like, we don't know how strong she is. You made it very clear. Like, she is so powerful. We haven't seen her full potential. Like, she's so powerful that in Endgame, Thanos panicked and was like, drop the bombs, drop the nukes, man. Just fucking drop them. I don't care how many of her own guys die. Just fucking drop these nukes. This chick's going to kill me. Like, that's how powerful she is. And that was her using like physical force. Like, I'm going to smash you and whatnot. She's still like this master of illusion, this master of like, I guess, the Mind Stone. And if she's in the Mind Stone, or if she's able to like harness any of this power, it's really like, I do agree with you. I do think she's grieving. And I think she's grieving, and she's in such a state of grieving that she's trying to make Vision still alive.
Yeah.
She's hanging on to him.
Okay.
She's hanging on to Vision. And you're totally right. I think the way the show is going to end, it's almost like it's eerie to like Dark Phoenix being born, is I think Wanda is going to unfortunately turn, like, she's going to fucking explode, and the repercussions are going to be multiverse of madness. And unfortunately, Wanda's going to be perceived as like a villain, because she kind of might become one.
Wow.
You know,
the cracking of one reality is what creates the multiverse. So the multiverse hasn't been created yet.
Right.
Oh, wow. So it's chronological instead of.
And then from what I'm hearing is that there might even be alluding to it already in WandaVision. I really hope, because I could see Kevin Feige doing this because he's just such a genius. I could also see WandaVision ending with a very clear introduction of mutants in the MCU.
I think those kids she gave birth to are mutants.
100%. They're mutants. Because I'm like, how the fuck is this just a regular baby? There's no wires or any robotics in this baby. Like, it's a mutant then. It's completely, you know, and it makes sense to kind of go that route. And she's having those babies in what, the 70s? So then that could mean that by 2025, which I think it is now because Endgame did the loop,
dude,
mutants exist.
It's not 2025. Do you see how fast she went from Prego to?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Have accelerated aging.
For sure.
Like in Avengers, when he's like in Ultron, when he's like, we have an enhanced on the field. Like, this is an enhanced baby. Like,
and in the MCU, the way they explained her power is it's kind of created from the Reality Stone, I believe.
Okay.
I think so. Like, I think they gave them their powers because at that point Fox still owned the rights to mutants.
Oh, God.
So they couldn't make mutants in the MCU. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, it's so, that's why I'm really, this is another thing I have to say, just because of Multiverse of Madness, I am envisioning, I really hope there's a part where Doctor Strange goes to the timeline of the Fantastic Four from Fox and he sees Captain America as the Human Torch and he's like, what the fuck? I'm definitely not in the right place, and just leaves. And it's just a quick little, like, you know, just a quick thing, because I think that would be so funny, because now the Fantastic Four are in the MCU, and it's obviously not going to be that version of it, but that version exists somewhere in a universe. So it's like Multiverse of Madness. Disney can really fuck with this now because they own everything Fox did.
And they totally can. They can bring in fucking Pixar characters.
They can do anything, man. If they want, they could be, maybe Chris Evans is coming back not as Cap, as Human Torch, to actually film a new quick little 2-minute fucking scene as Human Torch.
No,
I would love that.
First of all, I tip my hat to you, sir. I got to say a couple of things before I forget, but I want, as much as you want Evans as Human Torch, I want a door to open and it's Deadpool and Wolverine actually filming a movie.
100%. 100%.
That kind of shit. And
yeah,
that's how you kind of tip a nod to the audience to see reaction, how many people are like, motherfucker, did you see that scene? And then you can start to like get traction and start
For
to
sure. For sure. And again, smart move on Kevin Feige to say Deadpool's going to for sure be rated R. I was like, good man.
Yeah,
Good
smart.
man. 100%. And this is the thing is, if anybody can make fun or bring it all together, it's Deadpool, because Deadpool now can reference Fox universe movies,
Yep.
which he always has been in all the Deadpool movies. He rags on the X-Men, but now in the MCU, so he can actually make fun of Fox X-Men and MCU X-Men, and he can be the only one to do it where everyone just has to accept it because it's Deadpool.
You know that's going to be in.
Yeah.
At some point, he'll make a joke about both, and then two other characters from two different universes will be there, and they'll try to speak, and nothing will come out and be like, "Oh yeah, you don't have the rights."
Yeah. He'll just do one of those like, yeah. Oh, dude.
For sure.
Yeah. I think, and I love that the Bob's Burgers writers are going to be doing Deadpool 3. I think that's awesome.
Those are so funny.
They're hilarious, man. Hilarious. And from what I heard, the way that they did it was they brought in 10, they had a list of 10 writers they wanted to meet with. And basically those writers came in and pitched, what do you want to do with Deadpool? And their pitch was just so good that they were like, you guys have it right there.
Oh, at the table meet. Wow.
Right. And just hearing that, I'm like, I would love to know what that pitch was, but I also don't, because I just want to see the movie.
Yeah.
I just want to see what they do with it, you know?
Well, if you can do it in 3 sentences, you'll probably like you'll make it. If you can do it in 2, you'll probably win an award. And if you can do it in 1, you'll win an Oscar.
Well, and from what I heard too, is Reynolds needs to be a part of the writing process, which totally makes sense. And he bonded with them the most out of all the writers they like hung out with.
Oh, well then, like trust in Canada, trust in Ryan.
Yeah. And I mean, it's his character. Like if Hugh Jackman was still playing Wolverine and he wanted to make decisions with the character, I think that's fair.
Oh, like Bruce Willis, gets to sit down and tell Kevin Smith how to write a fucking.
I love, by the way, when Kevin Smith talks about cop-out, it's so funny.
Yes, that is what a person with being self-aware looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
On your own work, that takes some fucking stones. I also want to talk. What are your thoughts on Sword coming in?
Oh yeah, so interesting enough, I don't know much about like Doctor Strange and his whole universe and everything. So I'm kind of like discovering it as fans do, but obviously being a nerd, as soon as I heard about Sword, I'm like, I got to read up on this shit. So it sounds like Sword is pretty much the shield for like magic and like sorcerers and shit.
I can confirm this for you. It is, I'm just trying to bring it up here. Sword, hang on here. Trusty old website.
And it's neat that they made the first real, like Wanda pretty much pointed at that necklace and was like, what the fuck is that, man?
No, she totally did. Fuck. It's the equivalent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but for outer space.
Yeah, for outer space. So right.
So it's alien based in that. And there was a comic series that lasted 5 episodes, I believe.
Neat. Okay. All right.
Canceled, but Beast was brought in to it. Like,
oh, cool.
Wow.
Man, like the fact that they're picking things that are like have X-Men connections, I'm like, it's getting me really excited.
Oh God, like they're using Feige's using this as like a barometer for people. Like, and obviously with there being 3 months apart, my guess is that they're giving themselves time to edit and maybe make changes before the next one comes out. Like if they're using this slow burn mentality and they get back that it's not part of the magic, the magic ingredients to the show. We'll just edit and do it all over again. Yeah, no, that's true. It's very true. I'm still trying to find this here. I'm so bad at searching at the same time and talking. Oh, it's difficult. It's like, here, let's see. That's like my. It's also interesting. Like, it's so funny that Marvel just
loves the horrible acronyms and like the horrible over the top. Like, oh, it's so funny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will get this right. I fact checked myself. Sentient World Observation and Response Department. That's what it stands for.
Wow. Okay. Which makes sense because then it's like Shield takes care of shit on the planet, and then Sword is out of the planet.
Yep, totally. That's exactly.
So for all we know, they could be like on an interstellar fucking space station, hovering above Earth with a simulated like set, essentially, that Wanda is just filling in the blanks and everything.
It's like an intergalactic Truman Show.
Yeah, like without a doubt. It totally is. And I think Catherine Hahn is totally a witch. I think she is a sorceress or something, because I also love her. I love Catherine Hahn so much. I think she's so great in this show. That awkward scene where she did the forced laughter, the walk away was so good.
She's a fucking treat, man. I love Dick. She was in with Kevin Bacon.
Yes. Yeah.
She's got some acting chops. She's like, I mean, she's known for, being like the female, like not fuck female. That's sexist. Like being the opposite of Will Ferrell. Like,
yeah. Oh, and without a doubt. And I mean, when you see her in like Step Brothers, Anchorman, it's so like her improv, her caliber is just, like you give her something, she gives you it right back. And it's even better. And you're like, damn, like she's just such a good, she's a phenomenal actress. And what I love is she's being utilized so well, because she had that moment where it was like really dramatic, really great, where she was like, don't say anything. And then she went back to just laughing and like walking away like sitcom mom. It was, I also have to say, I love that Paul Bettany is he's really just like embracing the role. And I'm seeing some of like, I think he's having the most fun he's had with a role in a long time.
I agree with you.
He's really enjoying himself, and it's showing.
I've been looking for clips of him, and there's that one clip of him ripping off his makeup, and then you hear the background laughing, and someone's like, "Look, it's you and McGregor." And
I think that was Chris Evans. Apparently,
that was Chris Evans in the back.
Yeah, and then he just loses it. He just starts laughing so hard. Yeah, that was really funny. Also insane. I didn't realize that he literally has it like glued to his face. Like that's nuts.
It's I'm gonna guess, with my limited knowledge of talking to a fantastic makeup artist. Shout out to Doug Morrow twice. I would say that's 8 hours, maybe. No, I'd say that's probably 4 to 6. I'm probably wrong.
At least. I'd say at least.
What are you saying? At least 6?
I would say 4 to 6 at least.
Okay.
At least.
Doug, if you're listening to this episode, you're allowed to attack me in the comments.
Let us know. I want to know.
Yeah, let us know how wrong we are if you're a makeup artist and you vision.
It's 5 days, you assholes.
What my work. There's another thing I have down here. The scary thing isn't that she has to be kept in a force field. The scary thing is she can rewind and reset and whip out people who come, because when she gets into the conversation with Monica Rambeau, she eventually just does her way, like does whatever she wants and sends her flying out the door as soon as she realizes that, like when she brings up your brother was killed by Ultron, and then, what did you say?
Man, that was wild. That's like the first time we've heard a reference to that since Ultron. So that was pretty wild.
Yeah. Like they're pulling, I think I fully believe that her reality is cracked from grief. I think we both agree on that.
Yeah.
The fact that we all know Vision's dead, that's hard confirmed.
Yes.
So you want to give up that reality for any other reality where your love is gone. To that though, I hope there's aliens. I hope it becomes intergalactic. I think that is and then time travel cracks somehow with an intergalactic space battle with Wanda. And then that's like some battle that rips open time and brings in Doctor Strange.
I heard that Kat Dennings' character from the Thor movies is supposed to appear in the show, and she actually shows up like split second in the trailer. And I guarantee, obviously, that's in the episodes that are set in modern day, but she followed the team with Natalie Portman that studied those fucking like intergalactic things in the galaxy and shit. So a gateway thing, I think what you're describing could very well be happening, and they're alluding to that, which, I mean, I went really deep in like the lore that Marvel has gone with. And funny enough, Doctor Strange starts an Avengers for intergalactic. So this is in space, and they're called the Illuminati of all things.
Right.
They're actually called the Illuminati. And I think Tony Stark was in it as Iron Man, and then Doctor Strange, and then like these 3 beings from different realms, if I'm not mistaken. I know that like, and Doctor Strange started it, and it was specifically for like, the way he looked at it was Avengers and the Shield to have Earth, and then the Illuminati and Sword have everything else. It was basically like the idea. And I'm like, could you imagine, like, obviously they won't call it the Illuminati, but they could allude to it, because I'm also remembering that they officially announced Fantastic Four, which is super exciting. But what's really exciting about that is we're kind of getting a Tony Stark back in Dr. Reed Richards, because he's pretty much one of the smartest, I think, in the whole Marvel universe. So having him and Peter back and Bruce Banner, that's going to be kind of like having that element of a big brain in the room again.
Yeah.
So,
and the big rich.
Oh, and if Professor X comes back, I mean,
I couldn't agree with you. There is a formula in the team that was the Avengers.
Yeah. And Tony, you know, those are big shoes to fill, and obviously they're not going to recast, like, Tony Stark's dead, which, yeah, like, it, you know, this universe, it's a universe, it needs to expand, and we're going to see those characters go and whatnot. But what I like is, with Tony Stark going, you have Reed Richards coming in. You know, it's too bad we won't get a scene with Reed Richards, Bruce Banner, and Tony Stark in the same room. But the fact that I never thought in a million years Disney would get Fox and we'd be getting the X-Men and like Spider-Man. Like, if we get Spider-Man and Wolverine together, wild, you know?
That was my tag team in Marvel versus Capcom. Was
Always.
Spider-Man and Wolverine. Always.
Yeah, always.
Like,
yeah.
I'm so deeply rooted. Like, I remember Wolverine's origin Wolverine. I've been excited for movies since, but like, I was really fucking excited for, I mean, looking back, I wasn't excited all the time for the Wolverine series, but you know,
yeah.
1 and 3 were great.
yeah.
Going Far East wasn't so great, but that's whatever. That's neither here nor there.
The Wolverine had its moments for sure. The problem with it was that the studio, again, they learned their lesson, because with Logan, they were like, we're doing R and we're not holding back. With the Wolverine, they were like, let's do R. And then like a month or two before, they're like, fuck, maybe we should make it 14A and then do R on the Blu-ray. And it's like, no, what? And then that whole ending with the fucking stupid robot samurai. Why?
It was like, oh, this is what you took my money for. Oh,
yes. Yeah.
Oh no, we have a problem. I'd like to go. I need my check.
Have you seen the extended rated R cut though?
No. Like, my only favorite part of that movie is when he's like, I'm going to be bigger than an atomic bomb. I thought my suspension of my disbelief only goes so motherfucking far. And like,
I will say though, the effect was cool. Seeing his face repeatedly like burn off and shit, it was kind of like, and then I do love the very comical, doesn't he grow everything back and then he's kind of like, ugh, and then he's just like steaming and he's literally just like fucking I'm like, you know, good for you. You know, I would want that in my contract if I look that good. Why not? Like,
oh god, the fucking things that can go into riders. We should
going Logan, to me, Logan I think is still one of my all-time favorite comic book movies, superhero movies of all time. I absolutely loved that movie. And I thought it was such a beautiful way to like end a character story, if it were to end, let's say, I really do hope they let her be the Wolverine in the MCU. I think that would be cool.
X-23, right?
Yeah. And she's older, like she is getting older in real life, you know what I mean? So if they wait a little bit longer, like
yeah, they totally could capitalize on a lot. Like there's a lot to capitalize on, and it is about I mean, if they try to stick one more Fantastic Four up somebody's ass too soon, like
so yeah, that's what I said. Is I'm like,
you had 3 motherfucking times.
Yeah.
Probably spent $500 million on making these.
And you guys also announced Fantastic Four before the X-Men, so I'm like, okay, obviously I'm giving you a chance, MCU, because you're the MCU, but like, why are you tiptoeing around X-Men? And I'm wondering if it's because of WandaVision. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're pulling like Book of Boba Fett, where at the end of WandaVision there's something, and then like 2 days later Disney's like, the X-Men movie's coming out in 2022 or like 2023. You know what I mean?
I totally, yeah. That's what Feige and all of them. I mean, they filmed Infinity War and Endgame and made everybody think that Infinity War was going to be 3 hours. Like,
yeah.
Excuse me, sorry, that's apple cider. They like they pull all these fucking head fakes on you.
Yeah, and they should.
They should. Because it's all for your enjoyment. Like what isn't because they like no one's like let's fuck with the public. Like
yeah.
To go about their business and make you shit that you can watch, but like they literally disinform like World War II.
Yeah,
and like with the Cap thing, I think what this is misdirection. It's like head fake everybody with a Cap return, and then throw him in his Human Torch and multiverse.
Oh my god, dude! I will fucking single tear if that happens. Like, I'm fucking shitting my pants that Daredevil is apparently in Spider-Man 3 and Toby and Andrew Garfield. Like that is, and it makes sense because they're saying the repercussions of WandaVision are going to affect Multiverse of Madness and Spidey 3. And I'm like, well, fuck yeah. Then Spider-Verse totally makes sense.
Can you imagine being somebody who's worked on like I'm sure there's at least a handful of people who have. In fact, I think Robert Downey Jr. may have done this, but there's a select crew of people who've worked on all of them, and they get a ring or something. There's like
yeah,
a ring, or it's some sort of memorabilia for being every Marvel movie from Iron Man forward.
Yeah,
but I wonder if those people are so confused because of the way they filmed them. Like they're obviously not.
Oh yeah.
Like if you ask some like DP who's done everything, or like an assistant camera operator who's like, I can't tell you what world I'm in. Like everything.
He's like, dude, I just realized Red Skull's back.
They're filmed is not the way we watch them, and these people must just have a fucked up perspective of what making.
Well, and it's funny because on Disney Plus they have them set up so you can either watch how they were made, how in actual order, and in chronological order and everything. And it's interesting because it's so funny because I look at like, think of Kevin Feige, his mind in 2007 and where it's at now. And I'm sure he never thought in a million years it was going to get to this point where you're literally at a comic book store and you can pull out your comic book and just put it on the TV and you're like, here we go.
Yeah. Literally.
It's awesome. You know?
We've played a game before where we just sit around and we go, who would break your heart if you found out that they were, touching kids in the wrong place, or,
Oh yeah. Like who would kill you if you found out they're the worst person in the world?
Like I just shouted at Tom Hanks the first time we played it, and everybody was like,
yeah, that'd be heartbreaking.
You win. I really hope, for the sake of my own selfish Marvel movies, that Kevin Feige stays fucking clean. Like if that man, because they got rid of, I can't remember who it was, the head of Pixar. They canned him for
John Lasseter. Yeah.
Like they made him a nobody, real fucking lickety split. So can you imagine? Like,
and those complaints were fucked too. Like,
I mean, not that any complaint is fucked, but each situation is isolated, and this one was a little bit where I think miscommunicate. I can't speak to it.
you know what? I'm saying fucked in the sense of like, I personally think even if he didn't say assault any of them, the way they described lingering hugs and him needing to hug people, that unfortunately, it's like, dude, if someone doesn't want your contact, I don't care what your intentions are, back the fuck up.
Yeah.
Don't touch these people.
Like a linger.
Like, I don't care if it's a hug. I don't care if it's like a shoulder grab. If I don't want you touching me, you don't fucking touch me. I don't care what your intentions are. So like, you know, like, and a lot of people were like, this one assistant was saying how like he would refuse to leave the room unless he hugged her. And I'm like, that's weird.
Okay. See, I didn't have that information at the beginning of this conversation.
Weird.
Right, one of us did. I totally like, I just don't get how you can't understand that.
Yeah, personal space.
Like whatever you do outside of work, you do outside of work, and you'll get busted for whatever dumb shit you're doing. But
yeah,
it's not where you give long, weird hugs. There's nothing at work that makes me want to hug people I work with. There's never been a day I've gone to work and I've worked with some fairly attractive people, men and women.
Right.
And I've never wanted to hug anybody. Well, when I bartended, sure, but that was because I was drunk all the time. But like,
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's the drunk.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't want. So like, dude, you hugged your way into a fucking corner, but at the same time, like Disney can't.
They don't fuck around. No.
One of what I'm saying is they can't fuck around no matter.
And like the James Gunn thing was a huge deal, but it was also because even Disney realized this guy was. I saw some of the tweets. I thought some of them were fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Because they were so obviously a joke, man. Like they were a joke without him having to say, this is a joke at the end. Like
nobody can make 7 billion people laugh. Nobody can.
Right.
So take a look at the text.
Yeah.
In itself and stop looking at the world of 100 fans.
There's an asshole that was on Twitter that said storm the Capitol building and it got 5 people dead and then that got him kicked off.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So like, let's look at the bigger picture here. There are a lot of people on Twitter using it for actual hate speech and stuff. James Gunn made some dirty, were they bad jokes? Sure. But at the same time, I have the mindset where if I see a joke like that and I don't like it, it's like, well, whatever. Like, it doesn't stop my day. It doesn't ruin my life.
There's also a fucking date stamp. Like he didn't tweet it after he got fucking hired.
No. And they were from 10 years ago, man. I deleted my Twitter after that because like, I was like, dude, if anybody has on record, which I know there is, Facebook and whatnot, but the 10 years ago Charles and this Charles are very different from each other. They're the same in the fact that they're idiots. But like my mindset is very different. Like I have experience, I have insight in the world. You know what I mean? Like those have to be factors. Like, but it's just, I don't know, that whole thing. But yeah, like going back to his Disney does not fuck around.
Yeah.
And that guy made them a lot of movies, a lot of money. And but look, another studio hired him right away.
Yeah. I mean, and unless I hope dumb fuck learned his lesson.
100%, fully agree.
Don't hug people. Just like work is not a place to hug people. I don't care if you work with them for 50 years and they're retired. Right. Take their hand or like send them a fucking edible bouquet. But like don't hug people you work with.
I agree. And like you shouldn't even put someone in the position at their workplace where they have to tell you they don't want to be hugged.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just common sense. Like, just leave, don't touch people. Like, I don't, I feel like these rules are going to be easier to enforce. That's the one silver lining is in a post-COVID world / still dealing with it. These rules will be much easier to enforce because we can't fuck around right now. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like that's one thing. I was always the kind of guy, like I am very approachable. If I have the relationship with someone where I'm going to hug them, it's because I have that relationship with them. I'm not just going to wing it and be like, hi, what's your name, Glenn? And just go in for a hug. What the hell?
Yeah, no, COVID is going to turn us into like foot tappers and elbow bumpers and that. And then the aliens will be like, still not coming down.
Yeah. The aliens will be like, so I think they've downgraded their communication skills. We don't know yet, but like, this is insane. I always think of, you're a Simpsons fan?
Oh, I hate admitting this. I am now, but I feel there's way too much for ketchup. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons as a child.
Dude, you know what's hilarious is me and Claudia were talking about this. It isn't until the last like 5 years that I've encountered a lot of people that are like, when I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons, and I totally get it because I watched The Simpsons growing up, and I'm watching it now, and I'm like, yeah, this is not for kids in any way. But it's just funny because it's not that bad compared to like where society is now. It's so
Oh my God.
calm.
It's a conversation about society. It's incredible.
Yes.
It
was, and you know what it is? It was a fine approach. Like South Park is I love South Park, but it's obviously extreme. It's the same concept, but really extreme in every way, which is great. But in Simpsons, the running joke is they have two aliens named Kang and Kados, and they're always hovering outside of Earth, and they always make a joke like, ha ha ha.
Fuck you, dude. I've seen some episodes.
It's great.
I'm not living on the farm.
They're a fake family, and they live in a fake.
I have family who's from the farm, so I should probably requote that. I'm not from farm's great. I love the fucking farm. I shouldn't even have to say that, but now I've said it, so I need to correct myself. But like that's what's shitty about being on the record. But my I don't even, what were we talking about?
Oh man, how did we even get here? Hey,
let's get out of the weeds for a second and readjust here. The next one on the list, I think we can.
Oh, yes,
we can put WandaVision to bed, right? Like I think we.
Yeah, I think we said a lot. We said what we wanted to about WandaVision. I'm enjoying it so far. Paul Bettany, by the way, just had a quote saying episode 4 is gonna blow your mind, and I mean, part of me is like, do you have to say that because it's your show? But part of me is also like, well, 3 ended definitely in a way where I'm like, we're going to start maybe seeing more crazy shit. So
at one point, correct me if I'm wrong, but Vision has been put back together once.
Yeah, he has actually. He has.
For a brief second.
Yeah, and then Thanos just did what he did with the stones, and he just broke them apart.
But when they took what was left in Endgame or in Infinity War, it's Infinity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's Infinity War. So he reanimates. So Wanda destroys Vision through the Mind Stone and destroys it, and then he reverses time, which reanimates Vision, and then he just takes the stone out of his head, and then you see like a grayed out cyborg, like a lifeless cyborg, basically.
So
his body is technically still together.
But wasn't Shuri extracting what she could?
Yeah, she was trying to, and they alluded to the fact that she wasn't completely finished yet.
Exactly.
And he had to leave.
So what if we have enough and what if we just have like Reanimator with a head of Vision?
Oh my God. You know what's interesting is what if though they do that and then it turns out like Frankenstein and that's what makes Wanda go fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's a fake Vision.
Yeah. It's like a fake, not only is it a fake Vision, but it's like a very obviously, and then it makes Wanda be like, that's the event that makes Wanda remember everything. And then she just goes like Dark Phoenix and just like freaks out, and it creates some sort of like break in the multiverse.
Okay. So we have a fragile, super powered witch.
Yes.
Lost the love of her life. That was a cybernetic organism. But in this force field where we are trying to break Wanda's sleep, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
What if she's being fit? Because we know Vision's dead. So obviously that's a hologram of Vision. So they're using Vision to extract information out of Wanda or get Wanda in a peaceful like environment, create a happy life through all of these timelines that is tolerable and fun and interesting and, you know, a little racist, but whatever. And like, they did pick some pretty precarious times, but like, you know, what if all of that is a ruse, including Vision? And then, like you say, she snaps when she finds out that it is all fake.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I'm sorry, Wanda, but Vision is for sure dead.
Yeah.
Like,
And
and
that's,
you know, she had that one moment where it was really like, damn, where she actually, I think she just goes, no. And then she rewinds everything.
yeah. So the
She's like literally, so the fact that she is kind of self-aware of what she's doing. Like she in that moment even knows that she's in control of what's happening in a sense.
From his name was Petrow when she talks about her twin.
Yes.
All the way, but from the glitch in Vision to like that point, she rewound and then went forward. So we have the record has been spun backwards by the powerful witch DJ and then spun forwards again to get the result she wants, because Vision even looks at her and he's like, Wanda, I don't think we're supposed to be here. He says something.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So what if at that point that sword, using whatever constructed version of Vision that they can come up with, and then that's the hologram that Wanda's in, and when they wake her up, like you say, boom goes the dynamite, she fucking loses her shit, cracks everything. Insert Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We have just predicted it, ladies and gentlemen. We know what is gonna
because like the first person they're gonna get, and I bet you $20 Doctor Strange being Doctor Strange, it might even be like, force, there's a disturbance in the force, like he might just be like, oh fuck, I feel something happened.
Yeah,
something happened, you know what I mean? Like and Cap returned to all the stones, so he doesn't have the time stone anymore, hey? Or at least we're alluded to believe Doctor Strange doesn't have the time stone anymore.
Yes, we all of them,
he returned them all. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's because I'm wondering what it sounds like. Not only is Strange going to have to handle Wanda, but he's going to have to fix all the multiverse,
which can now allow for every other X-Men and Marvel character that they didn't own the rights to come out and start storylines and be support characters.
Yeah.
Have more fucking end trailers, because we can't wait for another end trailer. It's been too fucking want one of them.
And I think Kevin Feige has been making it very, he's been making it like, he's been saying it a lot, and it makes sense. And it should, that this phase of the universe is going to be unlike anything we've seen. And WandaVision's already proving that. Like, there's nothing like that in the MCU.
No.
So what I think is the big game changer is that we don't need origin stories. We're very much at the point where we can go into the comic book store, pick up a random issue and be like, what happens here? And, like Peter Stocking or Reed Richards, we're like, oh yeah, the Fantastic Four are in this universe. That makes sense, or like Wolverine doesn't necessarily always have to be with the X-Men. He can make appearances in other people's storylines and whatnot, because I feel like the contracts that all these actors are signing it's always like something ridiculous. Like you're assigned to 20 movies, but it doesn't mean full length, trilogy movies. That could literally be, you're going to be in Spider-Man's latest movie for 15 minutes. And that's one of the movies on your contract. You know what I mean? As well as 3 X-Men movies or 4, like whatever it is, kind of thing.
Yeah. And they're getting them for cheap, right? They're like, yeah, here's 20 million for 20 movies.
Yeah.
They're one-day shoots or above the line. And and then you find out that like each of them is $1 billion and you got sold for 20. No, that number really gets fucking small pretty quick.
Well, that's why this is going to be interesting. Like you wrote on the list too, and this is something that's interesting that's happening right now, is obviously the movie industry is having an interesting go in the fact. And you know what? I give it to HBO and Warner Brothers for grabbing the fucking bulls by the grabbing the bull by the horns and trying to do something, because I love that all these studios are delaying all their movies, making it seem like movie theaters are going to survive the longer they delay these movies.
Yeah, like there's this stupid pop that like it's like it's so hard to uh, it's so hard to sympathize with while at the same time being a understanding person, or so I think I have.
Yeah,
Like, it's business is business. Like, this is a
yeah.
business. I mean,
But
the
the thing is that's most frustrating is, and I am 100%, I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm on the same page as you. And we grew up like the theater experience is always, that's been the only option to see a new movie. Like that, we grew up, that was the only way you could see a new movie, was you had to see it in theaters first, and then the process of coming into video or a torrent or whatever. But movie theaters have been a part of our lives since we were kids. So, this is a huge thing. However, studios also have to understand that they're not going to be making $1 billion for the next little while because of what's going on. So these studios are delaying these movies thinking, let's delay James Bond another year. Let's delay Black Widow when we can make $1 billion. But the longer you're delaying these movies, the more you're basically just putting the knife further into movie theaters.
Yep. And they don't, like, they have them by the balls, right?
Yeah, they do. They do.
It was always this kind of unspoken rule, and then Netflix fucked with it and was like, we're gonna create an assembly line of content. And for all that Netflix does, when you make that much, you're gonna have more shit than you're gonna have success. But when Netflix knows how to make a fucking movie, there's no doubt about it.
For sure.
But yeah, no, with this whole thing, because those are the two big ones that I caught was Black Widow and James Bond, and I think the price tag for James Bond was $600 million,
which is insane.
Like, and now I've talked about this before. Like, Hollywood accounting, the back end is where they fuck you, right? They get all the investment, they go off, they make it. And then they're like, yeah, XYZ will give you 10 points. But then they go, marketing's not included, and then advertising and all this shit
and look at how much money they're wasting on advertising for delaying all these fucking movies. They actually have to change the posters.
Yeah.
To say these new release dates, which again, it's not like they're printing them and sending them to movie theaters right now, or maybe I don't know.
No.
But it's still like that. Someone gets paid way too much money to just change that on Canva.com. Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Canva.com for making Instagram and easy.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the template.
But I mean, the bottom line is, look, the invention of the internet was going to change these industries, and it has since it started. And look at the music industry. Like, nobody buys, it's not a common thing to just go buy CDs anymore. That's not really a thing. I don't even know if people having more record players, which is ironic, than CD players, let's say.
Yeah, but like with like, just to counterpoint, because I feel that this is where this is going. I'm gonna throw some Nolan at you.
I love it. I love that you said it like that.
Nolan in your face. I'm gonna Christopher Nolan all over your chin. So, he said that because he's like pissed at Warner Brothers.
And I get it. I get why he is.
I don't think he's like, I don't want to make another Warner Brothers movie. And he said that a bunch of the world's most talented directors and priceless, I don't know why he said priceless, but priceless actors went to bed one night thinking they worked for the greatest movie studio ever, and woke up the next morning realizing they worked for the worst streaming service. And but a way to go about treating people. That's all I'm saying. And that so some of these directors were promised back end, and I'm betting they're not getting it. And we shouldn't boo fucking really who for Denis Villeneuve.
Because at the end of the day, Nolan's definitely sleeping more comfortable than I ever will be, sure.
Yes.
But this is the thing, is obviously there are some answers, like there are some questions that need to be answered. It also should shine a light on how long has the movie industry existed and how long have studios been allowed to fuck everybody involved, right? Like, that's kind of ridiculous. That studios still can fuck anybody and everybody that they want to. So the thing about it is that really they definitely need to renegotiate actors and directors' contracts because the way money is being generated is completely different. So if they're going to start doing this idea of theater and streaming, they basically need to take the Netflix contracts, however Netflix organizes those payouts and those contracts, add a bonus of theater, because if there's still that element, and that's definitely how it has to go, because what Warner Brothers did, I don't see how it's any different than Netflix existing.
Sorry, how Netflix exists?
Like how Netflix is purely just streaming, right? Like Netflix actually had to fight to get some of their movies released in theaters, even if it was for 2 weeks, so that the fucking Oscars would recognize they were real fucking films. Like, that's ridiculous.
Buying a theater is like Nolan buying a plane. They're like, fine.
Yeah, like, right? Like, that's so dumb. Like, that's how I look at it too, is like, Nolan, do you think that was cool that the Oscars was like, because Netflix only puts things on the internet, they can't be submitted, but they make amazing movies. Like, who is to say they're not movies because they don't go to fucking theaters?
Well, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of dumb.
That's old guard mentality. And I mean, in every industry, there's.
Yeah. Now, and the thing is, Warner Brothers isn't saying, because I look at it like this, like I'm really excited for Mortal Kombat. That's one of the movies that I'm most excited for this year. And the fact that they're not just going to keep delaying Mortal Kombat, they're like, look, because if I could see it in IMAX, dude, I'll go.
You know what?
If I actually feel like it's safe and they're playing it, I'll go.
Oh.
But if theaters aren't open in my city, why should I not be allowed to fucking watch the movie? At least I can watch it at home. And like, it's not like that shit's free. Do you know how much money I pay a month for streaming services? Like,
oh my God. I mean, it's not expensive.
So
not free.
Yeah. Like, they're getting their money. Like, Nolan, I get what you're saying, but also, Nolan, do you have to work at a fucking dead-end job or a job where you're like, ugh? Or do you still get to make fucking, like, I love that his thread is, I'll never make a movie for Warner Brothers. It's like, that's great that you can be like, but I'll go anywhere else and make a movie, and you will.
Oh.
Like, no one's going to say no to Christopher Nolan making a movie for them, right? So I feel sorry for them, but also I think there was always going to be a bad guy in terms of whoever was going to be the first one to pull this move was going to look like the asshole. But surprise, surprise, every studio is probably like, well, now we got to do this.
Yeah, it's change. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just shitty that I'm just shitty about not having a movie theater. I'm shitty.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, is like, they're not saying no. Like, could you imagine if they were like, fuck the movie theaters altogether, it's just HBO Max? Because they could do that if they wanted to. They're still giving theaters a chance. It's just they don't want to have to delay, because realistically, what if all these movies are delayed till like 2023? Then it's like, you know, am I going to be like, the longer they delay James Bond, the more my expectations are going higher, and I'm really nervous. I'm going to be super disappointed with this movie because I've been waiting so fucking long for it. And I heard Netflix was willing to throw like they were literally willing to throw the budget at them to be like, give it to us. We'll give you all your budget plus what, 25% or however the fuck those deals work. And Sony was like, no.
I don't. Like you were getting at a hawk, man. Like you were getting your golf clubs back.
Yeah. Like
in Ren, they would have been like, our hands are clean of this. If people love it, they know that got it from Sony. Like, let somebody else carry the fucking weight.
And that's what I mean. And like, Netflix knows what they're doing, man. Like, if Netflix releases a Bond movie, people are gonna watch it. It's not like it's not gonna go, like, I don't know, man. And also Daniel Craig, like, this guy has made it so clear how fucking frustrated James Bond makes him at this point. Do you think he's gonna want to do press for this movie in like 2 years?
No.
He's gonna be like, I filmed that movie 5 fucking years ago, and I have to talk about it now? No.
You have to watch the movie to be able to comment on the thing he made, because he's like, what, I'll tell you about Knives Out still if you want, but that's as far as I'm going back in my fucking catalog for you, asshole.
Right. Like, and I mean, at the same time too, it's kind of annoying that these movies are just sitting on a fucking shelf, literally, or like on a drive, And they're just like, we want to wait till we can make a lot more money though. And it's like, but you are going to make money. I get it. You're just not going to make that $1 billion that you could have. But so fucking what? Like, who cares at this point?
That's the holes in Hollywood accounting, is that their whole system is based on, like, it's like the housing
Profitability.
like, yeah, it's based on how much popularity can you drum up for a thing.
Yeah.
That's the right amount that doesn't exceed or, drop people's expectations of a thing. Like, you get as many people, like, you market it because no one's seen it. The only people that have seen it are the people that made it. So
Yeah.
you're like, okay, we made this expensive thing and now we gotta fucking sell it. So it's that's like they've inflated their market, and they'll tank their own market. They'll take what is $1 billion movie and people will look in and see, wow, this was just based on hype because it was marketing. Like, if they dropped it right now,
Right.
the few theaters that are open can't take people. So I don't know if it's so much about the business or if it's about maybe even maybe a safety factor. Like, people are just going to want to go to one fucking movie theater in one small town and, see.
Well, and that's why I'm like, more so that, streaming has to be more, you got to look more progressive towards it, because does that really mean that we're just going to be delaying all these projects and everything because of the sole fact that we wanted to go back to normal? Because, like, what's eerie is that I'm seeing an exact repeat of last year. How many movies have been delayed to fall this year because they're hoping, well, in the next 6 months, things should get better. But again, if we've learned anything, is that things are, but it's slowly. Like, this idea of it getting back to normalcy, it's not going to be right away. It's going to be a while. And I think it's going to be over a couple of years. So instead of just saying no content's coming out in a couple of years, you know what I mean? Be like, it sucks that we can't release these movies the way that we've always wanted to and we've done, but we're going to adapt. And then say if, like, by 2024, theaters can open up regularly, crowds can be a thing again, we can kind of go back to normal. But theaters also have to figure out, like, it's a really difficult situation, but I don't think that the studios delaying the movies is going to help the movie theaters in any way. And isn't the only way they're delaying it is for the movie theaters.
It's so fucking cyclical. Like,
right. It's like, it's kind of ridiculous. And what blows my mind too is Warner Brothers was like, look, we have contracts with theaters, but we spent a lot of money on HBO. We spent a lot of money on HBO Max. The future is streaming.
Here's the middle ground, in my opinion. You want people to pay to see your movie? Okay. Well, we're in modified accommodations. You can't go sit and recline in the comfort of a movie theater, but we can recline at home. And because we're not going and paying for the experience, obviously you shouldn't pay as much, but can't get something for nothing.
Right.
And the failed attempt at Mulan being $30 more.
That was so stupid.
Oh my God. I was like, what business school do you recruit from?
Yeah. And you know what I did to Disney, you fucking idiots? Because I knew there was a digital file of it, there would be a torrent. I got a perfect 4K torrent of it for free. And then I just watched it. I was like, you guys are so dumb. You're so dumb. Like, how can you make people pay a monthly subscription and then say, hey, we need $30 more because this is a new movie? Well, then what the fuck am I paying the subscription fee for?
With your giant pile of money, Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, like Disney, Netflix doesn't pull that shit. They'll raise the monthly subscription, but in the history of that company, they've never been like, oh, that The Irishman, you really want to watch it? $30 more, please. Like, what? And then what did they do after 2 months? They're like, no, it's just part of the subscription.
Yeah.
So your end game was that it was going to be free or part of it? Like, again, you said it beautifully. Who listened to that dude?
Yeah.
What business degree does he have? Because that's a dumb move, in my opinion. Like, I'd love to know how much money they made and how much money they potentially lost from doing that.
The point of what I was saying is that it plays into that. You just make it $10. You know who's going to pay $10? The people who don't want to pay for the service. So like they don't want to watch your thing, but guess what? That means that anybody who doesn't have Disney or choose to watch your thing is not going to be able to pay to be able to watch a movie. So
right.
It's just law of averages now. It's like the more people you get to watch your thing, you'll eventually get your money back.
Yes, right.
It's always $10 until X amount of time. Like put it out for a year. In a year, you're telling me that you can't make $10
Yeah.
close to, you can't take it close to like 800 million, 900 million. I'm sure in a year, like in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, someone's got a satellite somewhere sucking something, hiding behind something, streaming somewhere.
Right.
Like, if they have access to a credit card and an internet feed, they're going to buy it and then they just watch
100%.
it.
Or even like if you have Disney Plus already, obviously it's not free to you, but it's included in your membership. If you don't have Disney Plus, be like, hey, you can watch Mulan right now for $20 and we'll give you 3 months or 4 months free of Disney Plus with it.
Yeah.
So you're paying money up front, but you're also getting something out of it. And realistically, if you're going to watch Mulan on their streaming service and you know that you have a free trial after, you're going to watch more shit. And then they're like, that's how they get you. And then you'll keep the subscription.
Exactly. Like they just,
and it's just Disney of all fucking companies. You guys are the richest ones, you fucks.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I love and I hate them. I've been to Galaxy's Edge. Like I don't have a bad thing to say about my experience.
Oh, you went, hey? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Did I show you the lightsaber?
I don't think so. I've just seen the odd video of the like experience that they like allow the public to see, and it blows my mind.
Well, first of all, we have the Quest here.
Yeah, that's the VR, hey?
VR, man, that's it.
That's so, you know what? That's pretty like, that's tiny. Like it's not that big, eh?
No, it's not big at all.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. I put a game on here that's called Stop Talking and You'll Blow Up, where the person wearing the headset has to disarm a bomb and the other people in the room are watching as you stream it and cast it, and people will watch on a big screen. So people are telling you how to disarm the bomb from a checklist of ways to like do wires and shit. So it's a virtual experience of disarming a bomb and helping you as the bomb disarmers.
That's so funny. It's probably so stressful.
Oh God. When I come over, we'll
dude, for reals. We'll do like straight up Hurt Locker style.
I have the Climb. I have Beat Sabers, and
Beat Sabers is the one with like legit lightsabers, right? And you're hitting like dots and shit or whatever. Oh,
yeah,
fuck yeah.
And like I have the Green Day package, so I do it to American Idiot. And like watching somebody, I have virtual fishing too, which like you can
nice.
Like Shauna caught a muskie a couple weeks ago.
That's awesome.
I have the extreme roller coaster. Like, I mean, the free experiences alone, like the unboxing on this, like the free shit you can sit with gorillas for an hour if you want.
That's so great. I see. You know, I only experienced VR once, and it was at a buddy's place who had the PlayStation one. And it was Batman Arkham Asylum, but it was like a VR game. Dude, at one point, like near the end, the Joker is fucking tormenting you. And basically you turn around and then the Joker just like bursts into your face. I fell over like my own feet and they filmed me. And it's like, it's so funny when you see footage of yourself, because it's literally like, a baby trying to like figure out how to like walk and stuff. Like you're so, and when I fell over, I could tell I was stunned. I'm like literally like this on the floor, like, what do I do? But dude, it did scare me how it really fucks with your senses, man. It really makes you feel like you're there. It's so freaky.
I will stand up in the roller coaster in the middle of the room, and like I have to plant like I'm and like you get the full experience of being like whipped around, and like there's nothing on there that doesn't feel like what you're doing, like in the base area, in the just hanging out in your virtual waiting room, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a space station. So like I like look around and like you can see Jupiter and shit. And like I can stream. Like when we do it, we'll stream to one of
That's
our
awesome. Fuck yeah, I'm down.
people can watch us act like idiots.
Yeah, I just started a Twitch account, and it's interesting. It's interesting to game and have that interaction with people.
I like do people, pardon my ignorance, but like do people, can you, I wonder if I could stream to Twitch on my VR headset.
I would imagine you'd be able to, because the way that I do it, it's just through my PlayStation, but it's like you sign in to Twitch through the system, and then when you go to broadcast, you literally like hit a button, and then it says broadcast to Twitch, and you can name the video right there if you want, and then it just literally broadcasts, and then people that follow you on Twitch, they get a notification that's like so-and-so's going live or whatever, and then there's like a chat box that'll appear on the side, and people can literally like ask you questions or interact while you're doing things.
Well, there is a microphone on it, and I'm saving up my bucks to buy the live headset, which is an adapter that turns the strap into like a ratchet style. So it's like quick.
No way. So
it just goes on, you go click, 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 and it's on, and then has, I don't know if I'm sure it's not Beats, because this thing's only like 100 it's like, it's cheap, but whatever.
Right.
COVID. Purchases, Michael. So but like it's got headphones on it that come down. So because I don't know, I'm pretty sure
that's wicked.
The way it's designed is, you know, those headphones that like you put on your temples and you can hear, this is what that sounds like to me. So
that's wicked.
Yeah. So like what you're listening to, and like I'm trying to convince my stepdad to get one so that we can like play ping pong together, and he can be
awesome.
At his place and I can be at my place, and respective loved ones are like, what the fuck, like they'll just film us, because like why, like you said, like yourself in a VR headset, comical, because you're like, whoa, and there's nothing there, there's nothing that everybody like, what are you experiencing? But no, it's great. And like there's this app called Yonder, where you just yonder, like you wander,
just explore, you just go around.
But like you can like go to Disneyland and go to Galaxy's Edge and like do
a
whole tour of Florida, and like,
that's cool.
I hope you get to go to Galaxy's Edge, because you'll get like, I'll tell you the best story about it. So never have I ever been to a place of that magnitude.
Yeah.
So like sensory overload. I was a big bitch the first day, and I was like, get these children out of my experience. I'm more important. I receive.
Fuck these kids. I've earned my right.
Yeah. I've been a fan a lot longer. Like I deserve this. So anyways.
Yeah.
So we planned a day at Hollywood Studios to like, we did the cantina, which was
nice.
Like pretty cool. They had like a techno version of New Hope in the cantina.
Oh, really? That's so funny. I hear you can get like the actual blue milk or something. I think you can get, or
yeah, you can. We got.
That's so awesome.
I think, one of us got the blue milk. I remember that. Like I have pictures. I'll show you. It's nuts. But so, anyways, Millennium Falcon is like 3.5 hours in line.
Holy shit.
And like we had come to the agreement that we weren't going to buy fast passes. We were just going to ride separately. So we were both going to experience stuff and just do it quicker.
Right.
9 times out of 10, we got on the same experience. We just weren't getting together. So whatever. Fuck, we're adults. But anyways, I say that, and then I lost my shit on the King Kong ride. But whatever, that's a different story. I didn't move. I know that the King Kong ride and the Simpsons ride, most fucked up rides I've ever been on in my life.
Dude, I didn't even know they had a King Kong ride. That's awesome.
It's
It's nuts. It's fucking. They have some seriously cool shit. Like they had the Transformers, the Marvel experience. They had everything there.
Wicked.
But anyways, so we go up to the line, and the girl there is she clearly sees like I'm defeated. And I haven't really started this yet, but I'm fucking defeated. Long story shorter, she looks at us and I'm like, how long until the separate line opens up? And she's like, I don't know. They're holding it. So I'm like, can I sit here and wait? And she's like, sure. Like we didn't move. And then Shauna walked back up and the girl looks at me and Shauna and she's like, just the two of you? Shauna's like, yeah. And she's like, get in the fast pass. So she threw us in and I got in and off the Millennium Falcon in less than 20 minutes.
Get out of here. That is wicked, man. Fuck yeah. And it was just because she just literally was like, this poor bastard. That's great.
Saw two adults. We saw a nerd. Like clearly
she changed your life though, man. And like that feeling must have been great for her.
That is exactly what Disney is. Like Disney is paid to solve problems. And I think they make their own problems to solve to look like heroes.
Yes, but they're like, we changed your life.
Yeah, like you denied me, so you beat me down with your
yeah.
And then was granted, and I was like, thank God. So that was it, and then everything else was just booked. Like you just showed up for your appointment, and they were like, look at you.
Really, eh?
Lightsaber experience in Cantina. We had a half an hour in the Cantina, and then they were like, if you move, you lose your table.
Wow.
So it was we'll dedicate a whole episode to my take on that one day. We'll just
I mean, this is obviously far from now, but May the 4th we'll have an episode, just a whole Star Wars episode. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes. Let's I want to stray back to two topics here. So we nailed some of that.
Oh, the one that was on the list. I mean, I think it's just an easy, quick thing because when I read it, I was like, duh. Yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger is definitely the greatest action hero ever.
Let me bring up the Arnold link. It's from Screen Crush, but there's this company, this data analysis company.
Yeah, because they said with evidence, right? Like that was the big thing. Yeah.
That was the thing. And I was like, okay, what kind of evidence? I mean, for someone like me who talks a lot of bullshit, I shouldn't be like evidence-based, but the less here I am being like, hey, prove to me where you're getting this from. So betvictor.com analyzed the 5 biggest action films from 10 of the most popular action heroes on the planet. So that's what this is covering. The number 5 ranking for ultimate action heroes was 5 was Tom Cruise, 4 was
wow.
3 was Bruce Willis,
yeah,
2 Jason Statham, and 1 was Arnold.
Really? 2 is Jason Statham, hey?
Yeah. Surprisingly.
Holy shit.
Like Stallone's not in that.
Yeah, I know. None of that. I thought Jean-Claude was going to be 5. I thought Stallone would have been 2.
I'll give you the full list here.
Wow. Jason Statham like pretty much did like 2 Guy Ritchie movies and then just action movies.
Yeah.
Or like a couple Guy Ritchie movies, like 2 or 3, and then just action movies, right? Because after Transporter, he was pretty much just action shit.
Yeah, but branched out too. I mean, Death Race, that's action. Yeah, it's all action.
Yeah.
Rooted in action. It's not. Yeah, Expendables. Okay, yeah, Jason Statham. And I mean, like,
but Arnold's like done what, triple the amount of films that Jason Statham has done, probably.
So here's some of the stats to kind of just give you an idea of this. So select the actor you wish to explore to unlock the full statistics each film analyzed within the study. So just to give you an idea here. I don't know. I should bring it up actually here. Give me a second here, everybody. I'm just going to bring it up on the MacBook instead. MacBook. Oh God, don't you love AirDrop?
Yeah. Oh, it's such a game changer.
Okay, now we're right where we want to be. I want to drop down. You stupid bitch. I want to see what you did.
I don't like this. This is pissing me off. I'll find the breakdown of all their stats on their website. Okay, let's go to their website. See what the website says. It's on their blog. Is this going to be? Whoa! This really brought up a lot of shit. Box office takings: 410,525,642,003. I believe
Arnold?
Arnold.
Holy shit.
Statham, I think there's 431,718,300. Sorry, my bad. 410,525,000.
But even still, though, like, that's a fucking monster. Oh, I'm surprised The Rock. The Rock's got to be in the top 10, I imagine, hey?
Like, he's not here, actually. Hang on, I got to turn. That's
hilarious.
Okay, so the top of the list for the expanded list is Pam Grier, Micheal Yeoh. I know I mispronounced that. I do that all the time. I'm sorry. Michelle Rodriguez, Chuck Norris, Stallone, Tom Cruise, Jet Li, Bruce Willis, Jason Statham, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the list.
Wow.
Obviously.
That's wild.
It's a fucked up list.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score for Arnold is 85% over average.
That's so funny that I didn't know they gave score to just like people.
Yeah. No, here, what else?
That's hilarious.
So punches, hits thrown, 131. Bad guys killed or knocked unconscious, 157. Most number of fast cars driven, 5. He only gets 5 where Statham has 15, but Statham did what the fuck with Mark Wahlberg with the car.
Oh, the Italian Job.
So
yeah,
like Statham is kicking everybody's ass on this number of cars driven. Count of weapons used, 240.
For Arnold?
Arnold, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, in Commando, he uses like 30 different weapons in one scene.
Number of hits received. So the number of hits Arnold has received is 189. The next on the list is Jet Li with 114, and then everybody else is double digits.
That's so well, because if they're considering Terminator, sure, as the Terminator, he takes a lot of hits because he's a fucking robot. But
there's this. I'm such a fucking I'm starting to be an old person because I'm realizing that I could have just shared the screen with you the entire fucking time.
Oh, cool! I didn't know you could do this shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, how old are you?
That's awesome.
How old are you?
I am 32.
Okay, I'm 39. So we're in our 30s. So
yeah,
old enough to be like, we still need to read instructions. We're not young enough.
Oh, dude, 100%. I mean, you saw in my unboxing video, even putting this stand on my PS5, I'm like, I got this. Fuck no. I had to read the instructions.
And that's part of the fucking humor is that you flip to an instruction read with like, dude.
I'm putting a stand on, like, how fucking, I'm such an idiot.
Did you do like a clip roll where you were like trying it like 4 different ways? Did you do
that? Yeah, I did a fast forward because I'm like, holy shit, this is like 6 minutes of me trying to put this fucking stand
on. Number of times they've cheated death, 29.
Does it have how many one-liners? Because Arnold has to have the fucking win for that.
It has number of catchphrases used.
Oh yeah, it's got to be Arnold for. Oh yeah.
Right there.
27. I would have thought that shit would have been way higher. Holy shit.
Yeah, and then, but like, look at his total score, 76.68. Look at like 64.8.
Oh wow, like not even close. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
man, that's awesome. Like okay, so this was the question I was going to ask.
Look at this.
Just because I can't believe Michelle Rodriguez is on there.
Yeah.
Pam Grier, that's pretty badass.
Okay, so hang on here. Look at this. So 410 million, 431 million, right? That's 431 million. I'm tired, and these are small.
Yeah, that's 430. It's just stupid that they put the decimal at the very end too. That's confusing.
That's throwing me off because it looked like another comma, and I was
like,
so I'm not dumb. I'm pretty, but it's like,
$500 million. Michelle Rodriguez, $1,217,557,779.
Oh, that's because of the bullshit fucking Fast and the Furious movies. Come on.
Like she dwarfs everybody, but gets what's her overall score? 36.
That's crazy. Yeah, like look at that shit. That's ridiculous.
Well, there was another crazy number of Arnold here. Number of times 29. No, that's not it. Yeah, I think it was just the count of weapons used.
What does that say? It says gadgets.
Oh yeah,
and cars.
gadget car score. Like
That's great.
like Jason Statham gets a fucking 20.
Yeah. What?
Fast and the Furious gets what she gets. She gets 5.27. Somebody is not kind. She's been in like the movies she's been in are about cars.
Yeah, literally, they're all about cars.
Statham's also been in Fast and Furious too.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And like he was even in Hobbs and Shaw. Like that's like a fucking sub. It's like a multiverse of Fast and the Furious shit.
Okay, true story. Me and Mark went to go see Hobbs and Shaw. I bought tickets under the influence, thinking I bought them for the Friday. I bought them for that day. Went to go to the movie. Didn't have tickets. Had to buy tickets again.
No way.
I spent $48 watching.
You basically bought the movie and then another ticket.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Although it wasn't horrible. Like it kind of reminded me of Uncharted at one point.
Oh, I get it. When they got to Hawaii, sure, I can.
That was insane. Like I don't know. I think I definitely liked them together more than the last couple Fast and the Furious movies. They're just getting too stupid.
Well, we're going to space. Tom Cruise, which is a great point to kind of do a little bit of a turn on here shortly.
Oh yeah,
Tom Cruise. Yeah. To space, and so is Fast and Furious. So the space race is between a Scientologist. Want to drive? I bet you they're going to drive cars in space.
Oh, dude, I literally told my buddy, I'm like, there's going to be a base on the moon. There's going to be a race on the moon or like on an asteroid or something ridiculous. They're for sure going to race space cars without a doubt.
And if there is no like anti-gravity thruster that pushes them down onto whatever they're driving, if they're on up,
they'll be like they'll all be chained up.
Yeah.
They're all like their weight collectively with the chain linking each vehicle is enough weight just on the surface.
No.
So stupid.
No.
I love that John Cena is Vin Diesel's brother.
Right? Not the Rocks.
No, that would have made a lot more sense. Now let's get John Cena in the mix and let's make him, because you know what I tell all my buddies, I'm like, okay, the way that they keep saying these movies are about family, it's basically going to be called Fast and the Furious Family. Yeah. It's just so ridiculous. The submarine one, I think that was the last one. That's just when I couldn't do it anymore. He has a secret son. Charlize Theron has dreads. What is happening?
I couldn't agree with you. I liked Charlize Theron's dreads. That's Charlize Theron.
Yeah, I was like, I agree with you, because I was like, wow, she's so hot she can rock any hairstyle.
like she's huge. So it's even more badass when I'm like, you're not like 5'4".
Yeah.
Folk fest. You're like those like you would kill me. And if anybody ever beat the shit out of me, I'm totally fine just lying there and taking it from her.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I
mean, sounds like they're ending that series finally, though, so at least there's that. I mean, the funny thing you said about the space thing, though, is did you hear like Elon Musk is like, hey, Tom, I'll help you film in space. He's going to let like Tom Cruise train with his astronauts and shit.
Right? Like, where do we stop this man from doing his own stunts? I respect Tom Cruise for Tom Cruise's as an actor, because he's really good at going from being an asshole to a believable actor. Like the fact that we all know that he's a dick.
Yeah.
Acts so well that I go, maybe he's not a dick. No.
Yeah. I think he might be a good guy in there.
Yeah. Like I'm just a little bit, and then I'm always let down. With a good.
I've always been like, this is my thing. I've always been really good at separating the actor from like the human, because at the end of the day, I'm sure they're all pieces of shit, and I'm not surprised because they're treated like gods. So, but Tom Cruise to me has always been a top performer. That guy, doesn't matter the role, he fucking commits. I mean, look at Tropic Thunder, right? Like, the reason why that role worked so well was that he just committed to it so fucking good. And his Mission Impossible, if that is his franchise, he has made it his. And I'll be honest with you, the Mission Impossible franchise has been hella more enjoyable than Bond. And Mission Impossible is basically like America's answer to James Bond. So coots to Tom Cruise, man. Like, I think he's kicking more ass as Ethan Hunt than, I hate to say it, like Daniel, the last couple James Bond movies have made me very frustrated.
They are losing. They're losing their shine.
They're losing it entirely. Like, I'm sorry, if I want to see a realistic spy thriller, you have The Bourne Identity, you have all these other movies. James Bond, there's an essence to it, there's a formula to it, and they're fucking losing it with these Daniel Craig ones. It's just turning into the same fucking spy movies everyone else is doing. I don't want to see realism. That's why I like Mission Impossible. I love that they still have over the top insane stunts, these insane set pieces, like Henry Cavill with a 50 cal outside of a helicopter. Fuck yeah. Like, Henry Cavill was more of a Bond villain than since like fucking Le Chiffre in Casino Royale. There has not really been a solid Bond villain. Like, even Javier Bardem, I liked the look and whatnot, but he didn't do anything in that movie but have speeches that were creepy.
Yeah. See, he was just creepy. He was
just creepy. He didn't do anything.
No, he just, and like, he's a creepy hacker, really.
Yeah, and he played it really well, especially when he takes that thing out of his mouth. You're like, oh my God, like, and his face like sinks in. It was typical, like, good Bond villain. But I wanted him and Bond to have a showdown and nothing. I think Bond shoots him in the back, or like he shoots him dead. I don't know. Anyways, like, at least with Mission Impossible, you still have Ethan like getting the shit kicked out of him. And he's like, the last second he stops the bomb from detonating. I know it's cliche, but that's what I want. Like, it's Mission Impossible. You know what I mean? Like, I think they even had a Bond movie. I think it was Spectre, which, oh man, did that movie drive me nuts. But he's in the Bond vehicle. He goes to use the guns and there's no ammo in it. And then he uses the flamethrower, which does nothing. And I'm like, so they're even making a joke that his gadgets don't work? Like, then what are we doing here?
What? Okay. That's just the joke that if you don't take care of shit, it will get old, even for James Bond. Like,
I know, but it's like, I like the joke better when it's bring it back in one piece, because it's not going to happen, but he also always saves the day. Way better joke. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, I think I love the OG James Bonds and I think they were more willing to be over the top because the decades they were being filmed in, technology was always a new thing and James Bond was always pushing technology. You know what I mean? And then they did start getting a little ridiculous with the Pierce Brosnan ones, but all they needed to do was tone it down. I did love Casino Royale, but Casino Royale was also like his origin story. I feel like all the James Bond movies are his origin story because he never has gadgets. And he never has the best car. He has a car, like.
They did a hard reset with Casino Royale. I mean, it was to re-energize the series.
Which I totally needed, for sure.
The original Casino Royale.
Oh, the one with Peter Sellers.
Christ.
Yeah, Woody Allen, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was clearly, I think Peter Sellers was also making fun of the character. It was like the first Austin Powers, if you will, like, without it being Austin Powers, I think.
Did you know that Winnipeg is the home of the spy that James Bond is based off of?
I've read that, and so that is legit.
It was, I believe he was called the Intrepid. That was his code name.
Really?
And he stationed here while during World War II. Yeah, he stationed here during World War II. He
That's
was,
badass.
and everything that James Bond is in the bones of Bond is based on the Intrepid,
Right.
which is
That's cool.
like
That's awesome.
like Barbara Broccoli. Like have a fucking opening night here for James.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, come on, just bring it to Winnipeg. You know you took it from us. It's like that one.
Well, and like having like I was excited for No Time to Die, but I don't. Who fucking knows if they're ever going to let us see that movie?
I got no time to wait. That's what I know.
It's just getting it's getting a little silly because again, like I said, they're delaying these movies, hoping they're going to make their $1 billion, but they're not helping theaters. Like, do they really think movie theaters are going to last? And I don't think they are, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, but
It sucks.
it will be like I can't give theaters carte blanche. There will blanche. There could have been a little bit, like they could have been softer about it. You know, you have this working relationship. This is old hat. I've said this before. And then you just panic and there's a thing and it is the newest thing, but at the same time, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And now everybody's in the streaming world and you have all the eyes in the streaming world. So like a marketing plan to be like, listen, we respect the theaters. We love the theaters. We've always been by the theaters. And without them, we can't show you stuff. And we make stuff for the theater experience.
Right.
There was no presser. There was no like public acknowledgement that this was happening.
No, it was just like they straight up were like, we made our decision. Here it is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's what the problem here is because it's not done by telling the people who are watching Dune on fucking
Right.
HBO Max. That's not like that's $250 plus.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure.
Big crews, first unit, second unit, third units, probably.
For sure. Without a doubt.
Studios in different parts of the world. These are fucking busy machines with people that
Yeah.
is at the end of it. And, you know, without trying to sound like a fat ass kiss here, I like to talk to movie people on the show and they work really fucking hard. So you're discounting the people who made it, not the director as much. I mean, yeah, okay, he takes brunt of it because it's not how he envisioned it, whatever. And that's ego. There's ego there.
Oh, without a doubt, for sure.
Director, but you know, I'm sure there's some ego there when you get to that caliber, right? And you
Mhm.
have it to survive.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, you know, getting a hand job and then being like, good night.
Yeah. Have fun. See you later. It's like it's almost like you go to work and not only do you meet your replacement, but your replacement is the one that's like, hey buddy, so it's not working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh wow. So there's nothing I can, okay, there's not even like, we're not even going to talk. Okay, cool.
Younger, slimmer,
Yeah, better version.
the newest thing. And it's like, you know, dance with who you came with, right?
Yeah.
And
I think too, you made a very good point, is like we also can't ignore that before COVID, the theater industry was definitely struggling. You know, hence why there's like 8 different ways to see the same fucking movie. And, you know, they definitely need, especially with streaming, with the way the internet is, movies cannot be as expensive to go to the theater to see. And if they are, you need to give me something more than just I'm showing up to watch a movie that I could watch at home. So like, I think of something like Mortal Kombat, it'd be cool if they had a $20 admission that was like, for like the theater guys like us who would plan our day around going to see a fucking, you know, midnight screening or wait in line. And imagine if you could see Mortal Kombat and the $20 thing was like, you get to participate in a fucking tournament on the big screen, like one of the video games. We're going to have a tournament with everyone. We'll have prizes, this and that. And then when the tournament's done, you guys get to watch the latest Mortal Kombat movie. I'd be fucking down.
I'd take all my money.
Yeah, like legit, right? Like for sure. And then if I don't want to have that experience, or if I just want to see the movie, $10.
Yeah.
And then you just come see the movie.
The thing about the subscription service that is the problem is that it's art that people are subscribing to. Like, it's been packaged and prettied up and made really accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And not having the hard copy anymore takes away the memory, right? The tactile,
for sure.
In case with the bonus features.
Yep.
Experience of the theater, the memory. So like where you watched it, who you went with, because you made an attempt to go see it. So it's like an art gallery opening where you hear about it and then you go and you experience it. And the more people talk about it, the more they experience it. But all those people are constantly paying.
Right.
For your art, and you're setting your price, and then eventually it makes its money back. With streaming, upfront deals are never what they feel they should have been 10 years later. They're always just enough money to be like, okay, we'll sell you this. And then Netflix continues to make money. And then you're like 12 years from now, you're like, wow, no, I sold that cheap.
Yeah. That's a really good point. It's a really good point.
When you subscribe to art, you're discounting art because now you're saying that we can make this on mass.
Right.
On mass things like music. Writing a song is not something you do en masse. You don't like pull out the fucking conveyor belt and be like song.
Right.
I don't know about writing songs, but I'm sure it's painful and you need patience and, understanding of yourself and what you want to write.
Sure.
Whatever. So to have people continually buy it that aren't subscribing to it makes it special. But when you set a subscription behind it, then that's not even a thing anymore. It's just a thing that gets views, and then it's data. And you don't want to make movies data.
Right.
As much as they all fucking are. Like if you looked inside my watch list on Netflix, it's like leaving your YouTube subscription open or whatever, your internet search browser, right? Like,
yeah, without a doubt.
I don't know. I'm just fucking rambling.
No, but you make a very good point. And I mean, the one thing you said, and it sucks because that's how it is a lot of it is about like how many people are clicking on it. It's not even how many people are actually watching on it, how many people are absorbing it, how many people are, having an experience with it. It's just how many times is it getting clicked? How many times is someone hitting a like button? You know what I mean? And that data is to them what basically factors in generating their revenue. And it's always been a number game, like 70s, 80s. It's always been, well, how many tickets did you sell? How many people are in the seats? But it's just scary that more than ever, it's literally about the data, and the data's in your face. Like they're being upfront about it more than ever. Like I'm pretty sure Netflix still doesn't reveal, they don't reveal like their views, let's say, like how many people viewed The Irishman. They won't give it up specifically, but they'll say, we already can confirm that over 60% of our, user base has watched this movie or something, right? Like it's even hearing that, I'm like, it's so bizarre hearing that a movie is doing well by views rather than a number of actual like money.
Yeah. But how do you can't like, you can quantify it, I guess, $1 billion. But I mean, really though, the movie making money, that's the only benchmark. Like, I always complain that the Oscars should be like, hey, people who watch movies all the time, not part of our silly fucking club. What do you think? And like getting douchebags like us in our important opinions. Right? How fucking dare you overlook the little people over here? And whatever. Point is like it's just, I think we can both agree it's balance, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, for sure.
We're gonna rely on this right now because it's a way to get it out. We're gonna pivot for a minute. Everybody had to pivot.
but we know there's a relationship that needs some love and care, and we'll come back to that. But right now,
Hell yeah.
what it is, and we should have said this a long time ago. So on behalf of all the theaters and studios that never got an apology or what the fuck, I'm giving it to you. We're giving it to you right now.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I want to close this out. We had so much on this list. Clearly, these are going to go long and well.
Yeah, we definitely I think so. We definitely we have a lot of great content. What I love about it is obviously we had a list, but a lot of it was we didn't even write down. It was, unplanned, and it's some of the best stuff. So I love it. It's great. I can talk about this shit all day, man.
I had talking points here. I don't know about not writing shit down. I had a list.
Yeah.
No, I know what you're saying, though. I get it. Well, there's chemistry here. Ladies and gentlemen, let us
That's right.
Okay, so to close this out, we'll do do you want to do, hang on here. Let's see. Let's go through this and see what there's.
This is hilarious already. I love that they even Photoshopped. Like, this is fucking hilarious to me.
Okay, so you're on it. Perfect. All right. So number 10, Edwin Salt. This is, I didn't preface this. So this is the top 10 roles that Tom Cruise was up for, but wasn't casted in. So
I had no idea. That is funny.
Yeah. So he was supposed to be Angelina Jolie's husband in Salt, who like gets killed, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, doesn't he get fucked up?
Yep.
Page. So that's kind of weird that they would have killed him, but
yeah.
Oh, that's when Amy Pascal was there too. Still, oh, she really fucked up at Sony.
Yeah, she was a nightmare.
How about this one? Okay, you ready for it?
No way.
He was supposed to be Matt Damon.
No.
In The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Oh, that would have been so. You know what? It actually is scary though. It could have been really good, but it would have been like, oh, this is really Tom. Like, it's not acting. This is Tom being Tom a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I don't know. I'm gonna take.
I can't see anybody playing it other than Damon. I can't.
But that's because Damon did. Like, that's the thing, though, is that
like he killed it. He killed the role.
What I don't think we could have believed that Tom Cruise was as broken and as has such low self-esteem as Matt Damon. Like,
see, but then you see Tom Cruise in Magnolia, and I'm like, God damn.
Oh yeah, the crying scene in Magnolia is you go from laughing to crying.
Yeah,
you gotta switch gears a couple times there. So
yeah.
Number 8 was Randon Footloose.
What? No way. This is the weirdest one. Footloose?
Yep. 100%.
Weird.
Would have not had Kevin.
I don't know how I would have done with that. This is weird too. A Beautiful Mind. Get out of here.
Imagine what did he had? Schizophrenia. A schizophrenic Tom Cruise.
Oh no. And what? Paul Bettany is the roommate, isn't it?
Yeah, Paul Bettany
is like,
and then Josh Lucas is the other friend.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, the girl is somebody too. Who's the girl?
Jennifer Connelly.
No, she's the wife.
That's the wife. Oh, the girl. Oh man, who are you talking about? I know exactly what you're talking about now, though.
Yeah. So, but yeah, John Nash, Beautiful Mind.
That would have been crazy.
I just watched it the other day, actually. Ed Harris is the Man in Black.
That's right. Yeah.
So many good things came from that, and it was because they cast.
Russell Crowe this was like after Gladiator, so he was hot, and like everybody wanted to work with him right now.
That's true. I don't know I don't know much what he had before. Like his young. I like Master and Commander.
I saw that movie. I think I was too young to appreciate it, because when I watched it, I was like, this is the most boring movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but Paul Bettany plays Darwin.
That's right, he does. And he was good. I remember he was good too.
All right, so moving on. This one's just like, thank fucking Christ it didn't happen.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But he was supposed to be
the only one I know of. What? No. No. This would have been. He would have been too young. He's too young for that role.
Yep. Totally.
Way too young.
But like, Andy Dufresne can't be a guy. Like, he, first of all, too pretty.
The Photoshop, I'm sorry, but the Photoshop that they keep putting on is killing me. Yeah, I would have, I don't even think this movie would have been known as being as good if he was in it. Not to shit on Tom Cruise. It's just, I can't see him playing this role.
I think it was by reading this. I don't want to read this verbatim because that's not right, but like Frank Darabont was already attached to direct the project. I think Frank Darabont was the one who got in the way of that. So shout out to Frank Darabont.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, bud.
I don't know. I would just be like, this guy looks like a racist. Like Tom Cruise, I would be like, no, you're not a nice person.
It's even just, it wouldn't make sense because the progression he would need to go through by the end of the movie, he's again too young.
Yeah.
Because he's in jail for a while in the movie. And like Tom Cruise would just still look young. So.
Oh, that's just.
It would have been weird, man. It would have been too.
Number 5.
The Photoshop is great. But yeah, so this one is a little bit, this one I can see, like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Swayze in this. Yeah. I could see Tom Cruise playing this role.
So could I. 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
I could see this one.
It's the heartthrob hunk kind
of
thing.
And it's like the channeling the Jerry Maguire, like, you know, the you had me at hello kind of shit. Like, it's so, he'd be like perfect, like for the emotional and the romantic kind of like connection. Yeah, I could see him. It's just obviously Swayze killed this role. So
Swayze's just, well, I mean, it's the cheap shot, but Swayze's just taller. Like, that's the problem, is that.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but especially at the time this movie came out, Swayze's he's just more of like a man, which is obviously what they're going for with these kind of rom-coms. And I hate to say, but Tom Cruise doesn't give me, like, even this shot of Cruise, you know, molding the it would be so weird.
Yeah. Like I'm almost like I'd believe it if Demi Moore was holding Cruise.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Demi Moore would, like, you'd be like, which one is the guy?
I would just be, but I'd be like, I think Demi Moore would look better holding Cruise than.
For sure, it'd be more believable. I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. How about this one?
Get out of here! Get out of here! The old, like, of course, never would I think this role would work. Also, I could not see Tom Cruise doing a role where he barely talks. I could not see that happening.
Or has, like, barely talking is one thing. I mean, Schwarzenegger barely talked in Terminator 2, and he's very good at emoting. I mean, he's a robot. It's not a lot of emotion, but still, I'm gonna argue Terminator is good acting. The point is that he doesn't have the fucking depth to go to kooky.
Yeah, like, I don't think he's animated enough, like, without talking. Like, I think if Tom Cruise, like, for instance, like Tropic Thunder, I don't think he could be that animated without having that kind of verbal expression. Whereas, like, Johnny Depp, as insane as he is now in this movie, his acting capability is incredible because it's all about receiving more than it is even, like, you know, saying anything. Like, the guy, I bet you the guy has, what, 20 words the whole movie, maybe? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I could not see Tom Cruise. Also, again, going back to it, I hate to shit on him, but he's too little.
Yeah. And
he'd be too creepy as a scissor hand. Like, he wouldn't be like
a little scissor person.
He'd have safety scissors because he's so
it would be like a 12-year-old running around with safety scissors.
Yeah, he could play like the young Edward Scissorhands prequel.
Yeah. Edward Scissorhands. Jack Travern. Sorry.
No.
I could have taken that because, okay, hang on. Like, Keanu really isn't offering a lot of notes. Travern can be a lot of different characters. Like, now that we know what we know from Mission Impossible, it's like taking charge of a situation, being the big fucking hero, saving the day, doing the over the top stunt. Like, that's Cruise's fucking brand now.
For sure. And like, I was just going to say, like, the energy would be completely different because with Keanu, it's almost like you believe that this is a guy that's never been in the situation, but he's a good cop.
Yeah.
So he's like taking it, he's handling it. But Tom Cruise, you'd be like, wow, like this guy lives this situation every day. Because the way he would take charge would be like, I know everything that's gonna happen before it happens, and I know how to be calculated. Whereas Keanu would be like, fuck, okay, let's adapt. You know what I mean? So it was more like you could relate more to the Keanu in Speed, whereas with Cruise, it'd just be like, okay, this is like a hardcore cop. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I watch Mission Impossible, I don't relate to Ethan Hunt, but it's cool watching Ethan Hunt kick ass, if that makes sense. So whereas in Speed, I'm like, sometimes the things Keanu says, I'm like, I feel like that's what I would say in this situation. Like, oh, shit.
I got to think for a second.
Yeah, like, I need to think about this. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, Tom Cruise just knows. Like, he's got it already.
This was, he escaped. Yeah.
This is, I never saw this movie just because of how much shit it got, but this would have been completely different with him because isn't this actor way younger than Tom Cruise?
The guy who played
Taylor Kitsch, I think. Taylor
Kitsch. I think that's
Gambit. He was a good Gambit.
He was a great Gambit.
Yeah, I really liked him as Gambit. He was fantastic.
He was in season 2 of True Detective.
Yeah, man, and he was in Waco. He was amazing in that. He was really good. He plays David Koresh. He's amazing. Amazing.
I think anybody who would have, like, John Carter just needed a name. That's the problem. I mean,
I think because, like, I remember seeing certain parts of the effects from the trailer, and I'm like, it definitely had a budget. Like, it wasn't like it was poorly made. It's just, I don't know. I guess it just, from what I heard, the story is just a fucking mess.
Yeah, this is a Battlefield Earth kind of thing.
It is, eh? Ugh.
A lot of money and a lot of missing components. It seems.
Yeah.
Mismanaged and whatever.
Too bad, because this kid, it could have been like the thing that blew this kid up, right? Like he did this and then Battlefield, and it was like, dude, shit.
Lastly on the list, and it's so fucking fantastic that this didn't happen.
Yeah, this one I knew about, which is mind-blowing. However, something interesting that I read, kind of funny, is I've heard rumors that Tom Cruise might actually play Tony Stark in a scene in Multiverse of Madness where he's going to go to an alternate reality where it's going to be all the original cast choices for those roles. So apparently Tom Hiddleston originally auditioned for Thor, so he would be playing Thor in this thing. I think they'd have Edward Norton back as Bruce Banner as like a joke.
Oh my!
Tom Cruise would be playing Iron Man, and then I can't remember who they had for like Loki and Hawkeye. But yeah, rumor has that this is. It's like it's supposed to be like super, kept secret, but rumor is they might do a quick thing because they had Brad Pitt they originally offered Brad Pitt a role of somebody I can't remember. But yeah, the rumor is that they wanted to do a quick little fun scene where he goes to an alternate timeline and it's their first cast choices that are playing those roles.
That's just popcorn. That's just candy.
100%, dude. I think that would be hilarious, especially if they imagine he goes back where it's like the shawarma scene from Avengers. So none of them even talk. They're just eating. But it's like Tom Cruise as Tony Stark. You know what I mean? Like Brad Pitt as, say, Thor, whatever the fuck it was. That would be really funny. That would be really, really good.
Or like when they do the original fly in together scene where they all land. And they
and the camera pans around. Yeah. That would be awesome.
That's the perfect spot to do it too.
Yeah. That would be really like, I think that'd be hilarious. And I don't see why. Like, the funny thing too is if Disney really wants to do it where they don't have to pay them as much and they can like easily bring them in for like 20 minutes would be a quick like shawarma scene, because then you don't have to pay anybody as much because they're not speaking. Because I've heard of that before where they do shit like that. Like Ryan Reynolds did Ted for free because he didn't talk in it. So they didn't have to pay Ryan Reynolds, but he just cameoed in it because he thought it was so funny.
The problem is well, it's not a problem. It's how the union operates. So
That is right. That's what it is. Yeah.
in the depends on what union you're in, but with ACTRA or SAG, you're paid base scale. So there is a base scale for having, like, you can't even get into a union without X amount of lines in a movie.
That's right. That's right. Because, for instance, you brought up Arnold in Terminator 2. That was a big deal how much he got paid for how little of words he said.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
considered because no words means you're not acting. So
That's right. So they don't technically have to pay you because you're not providing the service that they've deemed is provided by acting or whatever the fuck.
yeah,
Which is kind of funny because a movie like The Artist, it's almost like, does that mean that nobody got paid because it's a silent film? Like, what the fuck?
yeah, okay. Well, no.
No, they obviously did, because with that, they are talking. It's just silently edited, but they are talking. Like when they were filming it, they're doing dialogue, they're on a set piece. So they would get paid still the same rate. It's just when they're editing, they're removing the audio and they're putting a music track.
There's the science, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, I'm assuming fucking so, because, right? Like,
We're all assuming fucking so.
yeah, that's the show is one big assumption, basically. But yeah, the Iron Man thing, I think that could be funny. Like, I think, especially if it's a quick, like, again, I'm expecting Multiverse of Madness to have at least a scene where he is literally going through universes, like pulling out an outfit in a closet. Like he steps in a doorway and it's the Fantastic Four with Chris Evans. And he's like, nope, goes in another doorway. Tom Cruise is Iron Man. Nope. You know what I mean? Like you said, those are those popcorn moments that I'm like, I can't wait.
It's also a studio recognizing what we want, like what's and now that you own it all, you can do that because now we all go fine. You have the rights.
Well, and yeah, and if you want to make in the end game, if you want to maximize the full potential of money you can make, cater to your fan base because we're the ones giving you our money.
Yeah,
like, and it's so easy. Like, look at what they did with Mandalorian. Nobody saw that coming, but it was absolutely incredible.
and that's the kind of risks people want these days. Original story.
Yeah, man, 100%. Because if you're not going to do it, then like you're wasting it. Like, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying is Netflix, the kind of content and shit they're putting out, it's lighting a fire under everyone's ass because it's like Netflix is giving us twists and plots with like unknown characters, these new characters, these new stories. And here you are sitting on Harry Potter. Here you are sitting on Star Wars and you're doing fucking nothing with it. Or you're not taking these kind of risks when it should be so easy for you to, because these are, endless possibility worlds, right? So I really love Star Wars on TV. I think it's great. MCU, like the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. I'm really excited to see where that goes.
I can't wait till Christmas time with Loki. I love that the fact that they chose the one moment in Endgame as the start off point is like deep message boards, comic want and need from nerds alike,
dude, for sure.
Like if you picked any other moment, it just wouldn't make sense because now he's dipped out. And
you know what? And for all we know, the Loki series could be a one-off because maybe that's something Doctor Strange fixes in Multiverse of Madness, because technically Loki running around with the Tesseract is a fuck up in a multiverse, right? Because that shouldn't have happened.
I think what they're doing is that they're taking the secret of Infinity Gauntlet and Endgame and combining it into TV.
Yeah, which is smart because like what I told people is the way that they're making this kind of content is really smart because for instance, say your buddy never ends up liking WandaVision, he can just pretend like it doesn't exist and he can just go from Endgame to whichever next project was his favorite. And maybe they'll make references to WandaVision, but they've never done it in a way where you're like, oh my God, I have no idea what's going on because I didn't see this TV show. And I feel like that's kind of what they're doing. Is the TV show is going to fill in blanks, but it's also, if you don't see those blanks filled in, you're not completely fucking lost.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, like, so say you don't watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier show, and at the end of the show, I assume we're going to officially have who the new Captain America is, whether it's Falcon, whether it's Winter Soldier. I assume they're building up to that. So say the next Avengers movie you watch, Falcon shows up and he's all decked out as Cap. Some people might be like, whoa, he's Captain America now, but you're kind of just like, okay. But if you want to see that happen, you have that TV show to watch where you can see how that happened. But if you don't, you just kind of accept it. Like Thor getting a new costume. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, okay, this is how it is now. Cool. But if you want to see how he got the shield or why he's the new Cap, check out the show on Disney Plus.
I love how you,
and I'm all for that. I think that's great.
you went from like Thor's, you didn't use Fat Thor. Like you were like,
yeah. Thor gets a new costume.
Like, what? But there was nothing in between, really. I mean, there was Infinity Wars, and then there was Far From Home was last.
Yeah. So
Infinity Wars and anything. Captain Marvel.
Yes. So it was like I'm rewatching the MCU right now, and it's like Homecoming, Ragnarok. Then they did Black Panther, so you had backstory on Black Panther. Then they did Captain Marvel, so when she showed up, you were like, huh?
Yeah.
And then it went to Infinity War, Endgame, and then and then Far From Home. And so far, we were supposed to get Black Widow, but then that obviously got delayed. But Black Widow, I think they said, ties into what she did between Infinity War and Endgame, which kind of makes sense.
Which is why I guess I'll wait to watch that, because it's going to be an interesting part.
I'm excited for the Captain Russia knockoff, like the David, what's his face? The guy from Stranger Things. I can't think of his name. David Harbour, I think is his name.
Yeah, David Harbour.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Quick little party played in the trailer is pretty funny. This fucking, bearded out Russian who's wearing this tight latex suit. I am so for it. Like,
yeah. So seriously enough, and like he got pretty stiff and strong for Hellboy. Yeah, I really wish that movie was better. Yeah, that's we should.
He was a great Hellboy. I liked his Hellboy. I really liked his take on it. It's just the movie sucked.
We should get ahead of the curve and do an episode dedicated to all the people who've played Hellboy, which is only Ron Perlman and David Harbour. But
yeah,
it'll be just like Batman. There'll be people, and people who've played Hellboy.
I would love if they just got Guillermo and Ron Perlman and they did like a Hellboy 3, but it was like the Dark Knight Returns. So he is old. Yes. He is kind of broken. Yeah. He's more like, he has more satire than ever, and he's more bitter than ever. I would still watch that, man. I think that would be hilarious.
Ron Perlman, rest in peace. I know you're still kicking it. I just watched him in The Big Ugly, which was
nice.
He was a Virginia oil man in The Big Ugly.
Yeah, that's right.
Want some Vinnie Jones in your life? Go watch The Big Ugly on Netflix.
Yeah, I love me Vinnie Jones. He's great.
Anyways, I looked over at the time, and
yeah, dude, wild. Hey, we this has been awesome.
Some serious. My ass is falling asleep, so I'll use a joke my grandmother used to use. She says, "My ass is falling asleep," and she'd be like, "Could you hear it snoring?" Ha ha ha.
That's good. That's a good grandma joke. I like that.
Glad we ended on that instead of started on that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first of many, obviously.
Yes.
So for now, we'll just keep it simple. Charles can be found on YouTube under the Nerdgasm Show, correct, sir?
Yeah. So if you go on YouTube, it's under my channel, youtube.com/cfbomb. If you search the Nerdgasm Show, it should come up. Hopefully. Hopefully within the first 5 videos there should be something there.
Awesome.
But yeah, the Nerdgasm, look it up on YouTube, you can definitely find it.
And then as you know, it's the podcast,
you can find us everywhere. Anywhere that there's a podcast thing that downloads podcasts, we're probably on it. That's how I speak about. Sorry, I've got Pearl Harbor on in the background. Yep. Like I should put shit on in the background next time that like is
Cats.
yeah, exactly. I'll just watch buttholes and look at
Yeah, those little pig buttholes all day.
yeah. So you can find all things podcast related for us at therealdebaters.ca. That's where this will go. And this is going to be like we're going to do this however we feel like doing this, but it's going to be a once a month thing. So it's either going to be on the podcast or it's going to be on the Charles's YouTube channel. But once a month, we're going to en masse to talk like this, and it could be just the two of us. It could be people we know. We're working the kinks out. So
that's right. So you guys get to experience like the real birth and evolution of the show. So,
exactly.
And I'm sure as we go, just like all shows, we learn with every episode, and once we have other people joining us and whatnot, we'll probably have a little bit more structure. a little bit more. We'll see what happens. I mean, I shouldn't say structure, but maybe we'll time limit ourselves so we're not just ranting.
Yeah, that's a note. I agree.
Yeah, we're figuring it out. But we're happy that you guys are with us the whole journey. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is the first time. This is the first like true bonus shit we've started doing. So
yeah.
You're the extra, Charles.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to him, subscribe to us, subscribe to both. Smash that subscribe button like they say on YouTube. I've been waiting to say that all night.
Smash it.
Smash the fucking shit out of it. And
yes, please. And yeah, thanks again for tuning in.
The beginnings are always easy. It's the endings that I fucking hate doing.
I know. It's so true.
Cue the fucking music, and we're gone.
Bye.